Hey everybody, so this is a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, but I never really knew how to do it. So I decided I'm just going to take a stab at it, see how it turns out, and see if you guys like it. So this is a 2007 Ford Mustang GT. So I get a lot of questions about exhaust, what my exhaust setup is, what sounds good, what they should run. So I wanted to make a video to go over all the different types of exhaust that I've had, because I've had off-road H, off-road X, I've had the stock H with cats, I've had quite a bit of different axle backs. So I really want to go over what each one does and try to find the best fit for you. Now the issue with making YouTube videos or just videos online of exhaust, they never fully grasp the real true sound of them, because a camera can only do so much, or a mic. Even with a good mic, you can't really hear the depth of it in person over a computer or speakers. So I'm going to try to tell you my personal preference. I'm going to throw in some clips of my car, tell you the pros and cons of each one, do some driving with my current setup. I think I have some driving with my old setup, so I'm going to put those in there and all of that. So I've gone through quite a bit of different exhaust setups, and the one that I'll go over what I had initially. So when I first bought the car, all it had was an axle back. So the axle back is just from the axle back. It was the Ford Racing Stinger, I think was the name of it, axle back. It was discontinued. The previous owner had bought it like 5 or 6 years before I bought the car, so it was discontinued. So all it had was that on it. It had stock H pipes, stock manifolds, and just the axle back. And it sounded good, but it was really quiet. You couldn't really hear it that good. I mean, it's obviously sounded better than stock mufflers, but it really just wasn't that loud. Like the day after I bought the car, I posted I went on Craigslist locally, and I wanted something a little louder. So I checked local Craigslist, and I found a guy trading SLP Loudmouths, which is what I always wanted, for something with a muffler, because he just went on off-road X, so it was too loud for him because it was straight piped. So I hit him up, said, hey, I have these Ford Stingers. You want to trade your SLPs for it? And he said, yeah, sure. So I went and met him, got the SLP Loudmouths. And if I would have known like what my exhaust setup was going to be, I kind of regret selling or trading those Ford Stingers because they were discontinued. So they're probably worth quite a bit of money over the SLPs, but I just wanted to get loud. So I got the SLPs, which, whatever. I mean, I made my money back on those. But so I got the SLPs, which are right here. And then so this was stock manifolds, stock H pipe, and the SLP Loudmouths. So I'll throw a clip up so you can hear what the SLP Loudmouth sounded like. So then, after that, the SLP Loudmouth is really as loud as you can go with being legal still. I mean, you could get high flow cats, which I'm not sure if they make it a little bit louder than stock cats. I don't really know much about the high flow cats. But anyway, so this is really as loud as you can get with stock manifolds, stock H pipe with cats. So this is just a muffler delete. So this is equivalent to the SLP. It's equivalent to the Pypes bombs muffler delete, I think. There's another Pypes muffler delete. Really just any muffler delete, this is what it's going to sound like. And it's as loud as you can go without taking your cats off. So, was it a lot louder than the Ford Stingers? Yes. Was it as loud as I wanted to go? No. It tied me over for a little bit. I was happy with it. It just still wasn't that loud. Like I said, videos don't do justice. It sounds really loud, but I mean, in person it was really not. I think the way that you can test what it sounds like is on this car, the 2005 through 2009 for sure, maybe the 10. Just go back there and undo your stock mufflers if you have stock, or whatever mufflers you have. If you want to see how it sounds, just unbolt them, and that is basically a muffler delete without the pipes back there, so they're just dangling. But for a short time, you can just test to see if that's what you want or if it's loud enough. So that's a way to test it without spending any money and hearing it in person. So then after that, I wanted more loud, so obviously I turned to going off-road, which off-road means catless, so deleting the cats. So yeah, I went with an off-road, a Pypes off-road X pipe. There was that whole debate against off-road X and H, and I really just wanted to do X, because that's what I always kind of had a vision of having. So I got a Pypes off-road X, I threw it on, and I had the SLP Loudmouth still, but stock manifolds, so it was straight piped. And it was god-awful loud, wake the dead loud. I mean, was it cool? Yeah, but did it sound good? Nah, I wouldn't say yes. Well, I don't know, it's hard to say. With an off-road X, it really changes the tone a lot. As people say, it sounds more like NASCAR type of deal, and not really like a muscle car sound. So it was cool. Here's some clips of that. So it was pretty loud. It was kind of hard to drive because anything around 2,500 to 3,000 RPMs, there's just that drone right there where it gets god-awful loud. Once you get over it, it sounds good, but right there's that drone. So you kind of have to be careful when driving it, plus if you don't want to get pulled over. So that didn't really work out. So I ended up selling the SLP Loudmouths. And then what I went for was Borla Stingers. So Borla Stinger is also like the Ford Racing Stinger. It's a single chamber is what I believe. Canister. Here's a picture of them. So I got these and I threw them on with the off-road X pipe, and it really made it sound a lot better. It gave it back some tone. It wasn't loud all the time. The Stingers are still pretty loud. I didn't go for the attacks because I thought the attacks would still be too loud, and I did a bunch of research between the Stingers and the attacks, and everyone said that the Stingers sound better than the attacks. They're obviously not as loud, but they have more tone, so people like the Stingers, so I went with the Stingers instead. And they toned it down, they made it sound good, they made it so you could drive, and it sounded really good. I liked it. after a while, the X-Pipe kind of started to get annoying with the rasp. So it just didn't sound like a muscle car. I don't know, I get bored with stuff, so I like to change it up. So I decided to go off-road H. So I found a local off-road H pipe, went and picked that up, threw that on, and it was so much better. It really just, it gave me the tone that I wanted to achieve, which was a deeper muscle car sound. So yeah, the off-road H and the Borla Stingers, still stock manifolds. They just really sounded a lot better. And so I really loved that sound. I rocked that for like a year and a half, over a year and a half. And I mean, I loved it. Here I have some exhaust clips I'll throw up. So then I was checking on the local Craigslist one day. I was happy with my off-road H and Borla Stingers, but I had always wanted Corsas, like always just wanted Corsa. They were always so expensive, like $800 for just a pair of axle backs I was not about to pay. So, but I always wanted to try them, see what they're all about. I just didn't know why they were so expensive. So I was on Craigslist one day and a pair of Corsa Xtremes for my car popped up for dirt cheap, $200, which is just dirt cheap. They're the older design Corsa Xtremes, which are the circle canisters instead of the oval canisters, so they're bigger than the newer design, but they sound equivalent. They still sound amazing. Some people even say the older ones sound better than the newer ones, so I'm not sure. I haven't heard the newer ones yet, but that's just what I've heard. So I went and picked those up and I put those on, and they are amazing. They are just, I think, the best sounding exhaust you can get for this car. They have that technology where they have the no drone. I forget the word or the acronym, as I'll throw it up on the screen and what it stands for. But they have this technology where it's a no drone exhaust, which is what everyone wants with their exhaust. You don't want drone, it just gets annoying. So they're huge. The canisters are massive. They weigh a ton. So when I first got them, I was like, how are these going to sound better or louder than the Stingers? So I was a little skeptical at first, but I threw them on, and they wake the dead. Once at wide open throttle, they sound amazing. And they honestly sound like nothing else. I think they have such a unique tone for this car. And I think it sounds so good because not that many people that I know like have it. I haven't heard any other Corsas on this Mustang in person, so I think it just sounds amazing. At idle, it's really quiet because of that no drone technology. It works at idle and at cruising. That's the one thing that I dislike about them. Is at idle, they're a little quiet, but I mean at wide open throttle it makes up for it. And then so, because of them being quiet at idle, I was like, I kind of want to go louder, so I decided to install some QTP Electronic Cutouts. So I have those mounted right after the downpipes coming from the stock manifolds, and then I have them right before the H, where the crossover is on the off-road H pipe. So it's a true dual setup when I'm running the cutouts, and it is so loud. I think it sounds awesome, and the reason I love it because I have the mufflers. I can just close them and go back to being a reasonable volume, even though the Corsas are still really loud. So yeah, now I'm gonna show you what the Corsas sound like. I'll show you what the cutouts sound like with the off-road H, and then I'll go over all the exhaust setups and try to really narrow down what I think is best for you. Hey guys, so it's like the next day after the last bit was filmed, and I just want to finish up the vlog, the video. I'm gonna vlog while doing this last part. So I showed you guys all of the exhaust setups that I had, and I kind of went over a little bit of pros and cons, like what I liked about certain ones, what I didn't like. And so now I kind of want to just wrap up like what each scenario, like what would be the best for you, or if you're looking at exhaust, like what might be a good idea from my personal experience. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So one thing I really didn't go over was headers in the video, because I still have stock manifold and I've gotten to the loud I want. I eventually will go long tubes. It's just the install's like a pain in the ass. You have to take off the engine mounts, raise up the engine, disconnect the steering shaft and stuff. So it's just not something a lot of people do. Well, I mean, yeah, obviously people do it, but it's not a very, I don't know, it's common but not common at the same time, just because it's such a big job. Shops charge a lot, and most people don't have the means to do it themselves, if that makes sense. Doing a mid-pipe and axle back is easy, or a cat back or whatever, but headers is like a whole nother ballpark for install. So I didn't really go over that, but I will in this when I'm trying to talk about what exhaust setup might work for you. So if you're just someone who has maybe a stock muffler, stock exhaust setup, one thing you might want to do if you're just looking for a little bit more throaty sounding exhaust but not wanting to go crazy on the install and stuff, I would look at just getting an axle back. Like I had a muffler delete, but I didn't think the muffler delete was that loud for me. It was loud for some, so a muffler delete may be a little bit too crazy for some people, but I think it was like perfect amount for just having a little bit of exhaust modification and sounding good but not being too loud still. So maybe SOP Loudmouths, Pypes, Bomb, something like that. If you're not wanting to maybe go that loud, maybe just get an axle back system, maybe Borla Stinger or something with an actual muffler. I think that would be too quiet. I've never had just the axle back with mufflers and then stock H-pipe and the rest, so I'm not too sure how that'll sound. It would probably be pretty quiet for my personal preference, but if you're just looking for something more, that might be perfect for you. So one thing that I didn't really go over was catback exhaust. In my personal opinion, honestly, I think a catback is a waste of money, because you're paying a lot more for the possible same sound of just an axle back. Unless it's a catback with like mid-mounted mufflers from the pipes that connect from the mid-pipe, and then it has the mufflers on that piece, and then that piece connects to the axle back. So maybe that's a little bit different if it has mid-mounted mufflers on that. I still don't recommend going that route, because you're going to pay a lot more, because you're going to have to buy the pipe that connects from the mid-pipe, which is a stock H-pipe or whatever, and then go all the way back and you're buying all that pipe. When you have those pipes already, they don't have anything on there, they're not quieting the exhaust up any. You can just get an axle back and it would honestly be the same sound. So I recommend going that route to save yourself the most money, just get an axle back. So say you want to go crazy loud, then obviously you're going to need to go off-road. You're going to have to get rid of those cats, so you're going to have to go off-road X or off-road H. They also have Prochambers, which is like a mid-mounted muffler in between the X. It's in the middle of the mid-pipe, but those are pretty quiet. They might give it a different sound though. I've never really heard a Prochamber, so I don't know. A lot of people don't run them because they're quite pricey and they're not going to be that loud. So I recommend going an off-road X or H-pipe if you're going to want to go loud. If you want to go crazy loud, then you're going to want to go off-road X, off-road H, and then a muffler delete, because that's straight piped. So, but if you want like a good tone, if you want a good sounding exhaust and you want to be loud, I recommend you go an off-road H-pipe, and then you go with a quality like single chamber muffler, or just like a straight through muffler design. So like a Borla Stinger, the Corsa Xtremes, which I have, they sound really good and they're pretty loud, like this. It's a little wet out, slipping all over the place, but I love the sound of these, as I've said in the video. So it's really just up to you what you want, but I think that's the best setup for the price. Unless you want to go crazy, then you can get long tube headers. Long tube headers will be, they open up the ball game. they make a whole different sound. But like I said, that install, so if you're trying to go loud for money, just stick with your stock manifolds. Don't go shorties. In my personal opinion, there's no benefit of shorties over stock manifolds. It might free up a little bit of horsepower, like a couple horsepower, like not enough to feel. And it, like I said, it's the same install. It's going to cost a lot. It's going to be a pain in the butt. Might as well go long tubes if you're going to go the header route. So that's my personal opinion. So unless you're going long tubes, I wouldn't mess with the headers. So then, yeah, just off-road H or X pipe to really open it up, make it loud, and then a quality muffler design. Dang, it is really raining out. Maybe I picked a bad day to drive the Mustang. But it's really up to you. I hope this comes out in the video because I can't hear crap in here with the rain and it's on. Holy crap. But there's a CSI. Badass. Anyway, so I hope this video helps. Like I said, I would just do research, videos online. Go to car meets. These cars are probably going to be at most of your car meets. These 3 valves are getting pretty cheap. A lot of people are having them, and most of them aren't stocked, so I think that's a good way to go and hear some in person. Maybe talk to the owner, like what exhaust setups you have, talk a little bit, and then you can hear it in person. Because like I said, videos don't do it justice. Like I could just talk all day and it really won't give you an idea in person. So just go. You can look at videos, talk to people. Everyone has a different opinion though, like I said, so it's really hard. So I just recommend just start somewhere. And then if you don't like it, always you could sell and trade up and find what you want. That's what I ended up doing. I made this video to try to help you so you can try to save money and do it, but who knows if you'll listen to me or if my video will even help. So I just recommend just get started. Don't be afraid to change things up. And yeah, so I hope this video helped you.